Welcome back to the Story for Kids. Discover the Bible from beginning to end. Today we'll be reading chapter 8, A Few Good Men and Women. The people served the Lord as long as Joshua lived. They also served him as long as the elders lived. Those were the elders who lived longer than Joshua did. They had seen all the great things the Lord had done for Israel. Joshua, the servant of the Lord, died. He was the son of Nun. He was 110 years old when he died. All the people of Joshua's time joined the members of their families who had already died. Then those who were born after them grew up. They didn't know the Lord and what he had done for Israel. The Israelites did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. They served gods that were named Baal. They deserted the Lord, the God of their people. He had brought them out of Egypt. But now the Israelites served other gods and worshiped them. They served the gods of the nations that were around them. They made the Lord angry because they deserted him. They served Baal. They also served female gods that were named Ashtoreth. God sent enemies to punish the Israelites. When they cried for help, God gave them a leader called a judge to save and protect them from the enemy. Israel had many judges, including Ehud, Deborah, Gideon, and Samson. Samson was like Israel's personal superhero. God made him really strong. No one could beat Samson, especially the Philistines. The Philistines wanted to know Samson's weakness, and they found out what it was when Samson got involved with a dangerous Philistine woman. Samson fell in love. The woman lived in the valley of Soreth. Her name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her. They said, "See if you can get him to tell you the secret of why he's so strong. Find out how we can overpower him. Then we can tie him up. We can bring him under our control. Each of us will give you 28 pounds of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of why you are so strong. Tell me how you can be tied up and controlled." Samson answered her, "Let someone tie me up with 7 new bowstrings. They must be strings that are completely dry. Then I'll become as weak as any other man." So the Philistine rulers brought 7 new bowstrings to her. They weren't completely dry. Delilah tied Samson up with them. Men were hiding in the room. She called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are attacking you." But he snapped the bowstrings easily. They were like pieces of string that had come too close to a flame. So the secret of why he was so strong wasn't discovered. Delilah spoke to Samson again. "You have made me look foolish," she said. "You told me a lie. Come on, tell me how you can be tied up." Samson said, "Let someone tie me tightly with new ropes. They must be ropes that have never been used. Then I'll become as weak as any other man." So Delilah got some new ropes. She tied him up with them. Men were hiding in the room. She called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are attacking you." But he snapped the ropes off his arms. They fell off just as if they were new threads. Delilah spoke to Samson again. "All this time you have been making me look foolish," he said. "You have been telling me lies. This time, really tell me how you can be tied up." He replied, "Weave 7 braids of my hair into the cloth on a loom. Then tighten the cloth with a pin. If you do, I'll become as weak as any other man." So while Samson was sleeping, Delilah took hold of the 7 braids of his hair. She wove them into a cloth on a loom. Then she tightened the cloth with a pin. Again she called out to him, "Samson, the Philistines are attacking you." He woke from his sleep. He pulled up the pin and loom together with the cloth. Then she said to him, "How can you say I love you? You won't even share your secret with me. This is the 3rd time you've made me look foolish, and you still haven't told me the secret of why you are so strong." She continued to pester him day after day. She nagged him until he was sick and tired of it. So he told her everything. He said, "My hair has never been cut. That's because I'm a Nazarite since the day I was born. A Nazarite is set apart to God. If you shave my head, I won't be strong anymore. I'll become as weak as any other man." So he told her everything. He said, "My hair has never been cut. That's because I'm a Nazarite since the day I was born. Nazarite is set apart to God. If if you shave my head, I won't be strong anymore. I'll become as weak as any other man. Delilah realized he had told her everything, so she sent a message to the Philistine rulers. She said, "Come back one more time. He has told me everything." So the rulers returned. They brought the silver with them. Delilah got Samson to go to sleep on her lap. Then she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair. That's how she began to bring Samson under her control, and he wasn't strong anymore. She called out, "Samson, the Philistines are attacking you!" He woke up from his sleep. He thought, "I'll go out just as I did before. I'll shake myself free." But he didn't know that the Lord had left him. Then the Philistines grabbed him. They poked his eyes out. They took him down to Gaza. They put bronze chains around him. Then they made him grind grain in the prison. His head had been shaved, but the hair on it began to grow again. The rulers of the Philistines gathered together. They were going to offer a great sacrifice to their god Dagon. They were going to celebrate. They said, "Our God has handed our enemy Samson over to us." When the people saw Samson, they praised their God and said, "Our God has handed our enemy to us. Bring Samson out. Let him put on a show for us." So they called Samson out of the prison. He put on a show for them. They had him stand near the temple pillars. Then he spoke to the servant who was holding his hand. He said, "Put me where I can feel the pillars. I'm talking about the ones that hold up the temple. I want to lean against them." Then he prayed to the Lord. Samson said, "Lord and Lord and King, show me that you still have concern for me. Please, God, make me strong. Just one more time." Then Samson reached toward the 2 pillars that were in the middle of the temple. They were the ones that held up the temple. He put his right hand on one of them. He put his left hand on the other. He leaned hard against them. Then he pushed with all his might. The temple came down on the rulers. It fell, all the people in it. So Samson killed many more Philistines when he died than he did while he lived. Samson was considered a hero to God's people because of what he did, even though he didn't live up to his great gifts all the time. God still used him to fulfill God's plan. Discussion questions. If you could have a superpower, like a superhuman strength or being able to walk up the sides of 100-story buildings, what would you choose? Why did you choose that power? Number 2. How do you feel when people tell one of your secrets to others? Number 3. How can you be a good brother, sister, or neighbor?